Right, I go back. Right. So the test on 1811 will be MCQ, multiple choice question for 15%, and then followed by some classes, and then again on 25 you'll have quiz. A part of the quiz is already conducted as per Dr. Deparizan, so I will take only 2.5% quiz. I will see how I manage, whether it's conducted or organized. I will see at that time, but be ready for this time for the chapters, chapter 9 and 10. This one is from chapter 6 until chapter 8. I tried to cover before. That's all. Right. Let me go for the next one.
So, Dr. Mani, there is no assignments, right?
No assignments.
Okay.
Right. Let's start this one. Let me share screen. If, my class will have 3 sessions today. Number 1 is a lecture, 2 calculation, 3 will be quizzes. If you have any objection, any correction, any comments, later I post a Padlet. You can give your comments in the Padlet. Okay, at the end of the class I post a Padlet. And then for attendance I will download from this participant list. Don't worry, I will download from participant list. So you no need to key in another attendance. Right now 94 are here. Try to attend on time. 15 minutes, maximum 15 minutes I can give, but not more than that. Okay, please attend classes on time. Right. By 15 we will close taking attendance. 15 minutes. Right. Let me share the screen. Come on. Right. Hope you all see the screen. Sorry, I just attend this one. Okay. You can connect. Right, all of you know that this subject is taught by myself and Dr. Deparizan. September, this is long semester. The topics under this will be angular motion, displacement, angular velocity, angular acceleration, relations between angular and tangential quantities, equations for uniformly accelerated angular motion, centripetal force, and centripetal acceleration. Any of these terms are familiar to you before? Anybody? Any of these terms are familiar to you before?
Some of them.
Okay, maybe in your O level or 10th standard, 9th standard, you would have come across. But having understood the basic definition, we are going for some high level advanced equations that we will be applying mainly for applications and design of machines, right? Production, for production purpose, development, and so on, right? What will be the outcome of this chapter? This motion in circle at the end of the class, I plan to finish within this week. If not, I will extend for next week because I left with 4-5 weeks only. I try to give you the most important thing that you will have in your engineering or science subjects in future, that you have to have the basis. I will provide all the basis for you, right? If you want more classes, more tutorials, you can always approach me, right? Okay, I have a question. Do you have a textbook for reading, further reading? All of you having textbook? You please follow the textbooks as mentioned in the uh, course outline. You may have to follow. Nowadays it's downloadable. I think it's available, freely available online. Practice those questions similar to what we are giving in the class. At least read once every chapter. Okay. Okay. What will be the outcome? I didn't get the answer for textbook. Do you all read the textbook? Do you have it or do you need it? Later you will.
No, we do need it. I don't have the textbook.
Okay, later in the Padlet, you write down your questions there. Then I will give you the information. Okay. I didn't know that you don't have the textbook, but normally students will capture even before the class starts. You must have a copy to read. Before class you read, and then after class also read twice to familiarize with the terms because you are new to the concepts, right? By reading twice, thrice, I'm sure you will be the expert on this. Come on. What will be the outcome? How to analyze motion in a circle path with either constant speed or varying speed. In this subject, mostly we will do constant speed, varying speed in somewhat like started, ended, slowing down, retarded, and so on. Don't worry, I will not make it complicated in the beginning. So go for all basics and fundamental and simple questions first. If you have concrete foundation, you can solve complex questions. So all more objects in circular path will be studied. How to relate velocities of a moving object as seen from two different forms of references. Okay, these velocities and the object or car, any material which is in motion, which is in rotation, right? Production, which is using the rotation as the functioning, wherein you will have two types of velocities always, tangential, linear or tangential. Another one is rotational or angular. So these two we will study this chapter, and also we compare. Having given the question, asking you to solve this one. Having given the question on this, maybe asking you to solve this, vice versa. You will have combination of both. Okay, we'll see. All are governed by equations. Okay, please remember your outcome when I didn't go through your course outline. Hope it was done in the beginning. I don't want to repeat again. Your main objective is three things. The cognitive, how you obtain your Bloom's taxonomy. There are three. One is knowledge, second one understand, third one apply. You get the knowledge of what is this equation, what is the concept. You have to understand what it is, or able to comprehend, able to repeat, recall and repeat. And then third one, apply. You apply in some equations and calculations to solve. These are the three things. I'm not asking you to create, or I am not asking you to evaluate. That is at higher level. So these three basics have to be learned in this module. Come on. Here tangential and angular. Lastly, third one, kinematics, right? Kinematics of uniform circular flow. Kinetics, there are two terms you always come across. Kinematics means all related to movement, motion, right? Displacement, velocity, and so on. Kinematics. Define radians and express angular displacement in radians. Okay, you will study about displacement in radians. So far, you will use meter, kilometer, furlong. I mean, if it is British units, furlong, feet, and so on. But local, another thing you have to remember, this module is offered under ISI system of unit. If you are from other region who will be using imperial or British or metric systems, you may have to learn yourself. There is no issue, it's just a conversion only. But to avoid not making it inconsistent, we use universally ISI system of unit. Okay, ISI system of unit, international system of something like that. International system of units, we are using it. So please follow this international system unit for any calculation, any units that you are using it. ISI system of unit means meters, newtons, seconds, right? These are the things. You don't use pounds, feet, furlong, no. And then what else? That's it. Okay. Understand the concept of angular velocity to solve the problems. Okay. Understand the, I take the mouse. Okay. Understand the concept of angular velocity to solve problems. So you do the displacement and the velocity. And then finally, the velocity equation. You have to, that's why I said the second cognitive, which is you have to recall and remember to answer, apply this equation. Later I'll show how you got this equation. V is equal to, right? Tangential velocity, V is equal to R, radius times omega, angular velocity. How you got it, we will solve it later. So at the end of the lesson, you will have all these things. Centripetal acceleration and centripetal force. So there is one peculiar term, centripetal, or new word you are learning. So far you are learning acceleration. Now centripetal acceleration and centripetal force, acceleration force. And there are one more term which you never learn. I don't know in future useful or not. Centrifugal. The opposite of this is centrifugal, but we are not addressing in this module here. The opposite one is centrifugal, but we no longer call that as centrifugal. That is totally analyzed as a different topic. Okay. Now you understand only centripetal acceleration, centripetal force. What you learn here, describe quantitatively motion in curved path due to perpendicular, this notation is for perpendicular force. All right. What happens when there is a force acting perpendicular? We will learn one by one why it is perpendicular, how it is perpendicular, and what causes this perpendicular force to be, right? Second one, understand the centripetal acceleration in the case of uniform motion in a circle. Once you learn what happened to the perpendicular force and then what it turns to be centripetal, how it turns to be centripetal acceleration, and then recall the use of centripetal acceleration equation A is equal to r omega square and av square by r. All these derivations are small derivation only. Having understood trigonometry and some of the analytical mathematics, analytical geometry, I'm sure you are able to learn and remember this. If at all you don't remember, you can solve. You can draw the diagram and solve and get the equation yourself. It is much easier and clear for you. You can remember, if not, you can solve. I will teach you one by one. Please understand and remember those things so that you can arrive at. Do you need this equation to be given in the exam? Hi, are you there? Do you need these types of equation to be given in the exam formula sheet?
Probably yes, Professor.
Yes.
Then the question will be complicated.
No. No.
Okay. I will see how it will go, but try to understand how you got this equation. That is important. For now, I can give you no problem because we don't want student to remember a lot of things. But at the same time, understand how we got these equations. That is most important. Recall and use centripetal force equation. Some more equation, which is force in terms of angular and in terms of linear. We will be learning today. That's it. These are all the outcome. All right. One moment, there's a question here. Deb said he has completed until 5, so I started with 6.
You haven't started 5.
Not started.
No.
One moment. I will check with him. Okay. Yesterday I again confirmed. Yesterday evening I messaged him. He said you can start from 6. Let me, after the class, thanks for the information. I will check with him by evening and then meet you. Right. You can follow this one, right? What's your name? Huh? Calvin. Ghan. Ghan. Later take one snap, please. Okay. Now our Gan is here like this. Many people you can come and attend in person. Thanks Gan for coming here. Really appreciate your interest. Right. I will check with Dr. Ayar Deb about the chapter 5. If not done, we will do it. For now, please follow this class. Hope you can understand. Anywhere you are not clear, please stop me. Right. So there are 4 objectives and outcome that you need to be obtained for today's class or this week's class under this chapter. Come on. Interesting. Start. What is the circular motion? You see the pictures here. All are examples of circular motion, right? All are examples of circular motion. I will explain later in the next slide. For now, let's understand. We need to extend our description of motion to 2 and 3 dimensions. So far, you are doing linear, one direction, like just x direction. It's a pen. You just do whenever you start analyzing, you just put like this x, one direction analysis only you do, right? When you want to mark the axis, you just put like this x axis. Now there are 2 other directions, y and z, you need to solve. 3 dimensions also solve because it turned to be a circular motion, right? A particle is in uniform circular motion if it travels around a circle or a circular arc at constant speed, right? Uniform referring to constant, all right? Uniform is referring to constant speed. So whenever an object is moving with a constant speed, it is said to be a uniform circular motion. What is non-uniform? Otherwise, when the speed is changing, velocity is varying, automatically change to non-uniform. Our classes mostly deal with uniform circular motion, thorough of this. And some of the, always I give initial as a 0 so that you will have in a 0 and end point, so that you will have a definite uniform circular motion, even if it is a non-uniform. Because my intention is thorough of this, and then you can apply the variation for non-uniform later on. Although the speed does not vary, the particle is accelerating because the velocity changes in direction, right? Okay, this thing we will study when we go to that particular topic. What does it say? Speed does not vary, right? Speed is constant. but by making changes in the direction, it will become a kind of another type of a force or another type of acceleration acting on it. We will see today what it is. Okay, I repeat, any velocity being velocity vector, right, it will have both direction and magnitude. Sometimes it will maintain the same speed, same value of velocity meter per second, but the direction will change, right? It can still be a uniform circular motion. How is it? We are going to study today. Come on, these are the examples. How do you describe the motion of a roller coaster? See, roller coaster is like this. See, although it is up and down, right? Totally different one. It is not a linear one. Totally going up, y direction, x direction, and some rotation, and then coming down. Keep changing the dimensions, right? Almost a three-dimensional flow. In this case, you can, this is one of the example wherein the circular motion principles are applied. If there is no circular motion principle, all right, we cannot build this one. You must thank to this one. Later I show the interesting video. With that you are able to understand a better one. Which hits the ground first? The baseball. I have also interesting questions on this. Which hits the ground first? A baseball that you simply drop, or one that you throw horizontally, right? Herein you will see, all of you know that we are surrounded by air, right? We are subjected to atmospheric pressure. What is the value of atmospheric pressure? 101 kilopascals, right? Because I can resist the 101 kilopascal, I can move, I can go, I can run, right? If no air, I'll be floating, right? If no air with this pressure, I'll be floating. So about the air resistance, and hence how these types of actions, either thrown horizontally or dropped from some height, will be behaving. We will see all these things in this module. And this is one of the example of how the acceleration is created. We say an object rotates about its axis when the axis is a part of the moving object itself, right? Here you see the object, when you rotate when you hold the ball, right, and rotate it, the ball is actually rotating about an axis. There is an axis which rotates, the ball rotates about an axis. Always there must be an axis about which it can rotate. You can also find, analyze, define with the help of axis only. No axis, we cannot say it's a uniform motion, right? So about an axis, it is rotating, and all the calculation will follow about the axis. A child revolves on a merry-go-round because he is external to merry-go-round axis. See, this is the axis, right? This is the axis, right? Now the point is in this case the point is here to hold. In this case the axis is here, but the object is here, right? The object is here. So this object is rotating about an axis, right? So it can also be called as a circular motion, uniform circular motion, because there is no variation in the acceleration. So you can call this as a rotation about an axis, but little bit away from the point. The object is at the corner or at some distance, and so on. Right. Earth revolves around the sun once each year while it rotates around its north-south axis once each day. You see here Earth, right? Whenever you do drawings, maybe in future mechanical engineer, civil engineer, or anybody, if you want to draw drawing, always what you do, you start with the direction. Never, you always start with direction, right? You put arrow like this and then like this, north, south, right? You put this direction and then start drawing your picture, maybe a plan or elevation, anything. In this direction symbol, it says, here you see here in this case of rotation of the Earth, in this figure, the Earth is rotating about an axis which is north-south each day itself, and also around the sun in the planet system. These are all called as circular motion, uniform circular motion. If there is any change, it will leave out of the orbit. There is a tragedy. So since they are in orbit and rotating about an axis which is north and south, you can say it's a uniform circular motion. Come on, we are going to learn some of the technical terms here. We start with number one, angular position. not number one, it is going to support your number one, which is angular displacement. Okay, angular position. To discuss, any questions so far? Are you hearing me? Any question? Let me see how many of you
No,
joined.
miss.
Okay. Right. Let me check. All right. Okay. Go back. Right. Start with angular position. It's very important. You may ask. What question? Can slow down 15%. What was slow down? Oh, the talking, right? The pace of talking, isn't it? Wang Min, can you unmute and tell me the pace of talking, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay, thank you, thank
Little
you.
bit too
Very good.
fast.
Yeah, I will do. I must. I try. I already slow down. Okay, I must. Come on, angular position, right? All of you know that any velocity started with displacement. Any displacement must have a position, whether it's a starting point, what is an ending point, or in between, and so on. So position comes very beginning in any defining object or objects at rest or in motion. Okay, come on. To describe the motion of an object on a circular path or the rotation of a wheel on an axle, we need a coordinate to measure angles. Okay, you need a coordinate whenever you want to position an object in a on earth, right? Like you have your the topo sheet or your GPS, right? You take your GPS, how it is located by x and y. So any point on a system will have x and y, right? You need to position it. How to position it? We need a coordinate to measure angle. This is linear or Cartesian, and we call this as a Cartesian system of coordinate. And otherwise, if it is an angle, there is another type. If this is r and this is theta, the position of this body is termed as r comma theta, right? This is called polar system. Hope you have studied already all these things. This is Cartesian system of uh, coordinate system, Cartesian coordinate system. This is polar coordinate system because r and theta. A point on a space can be defined either by this Cartesian or polar system. Polar means already it is a rotation. There is a rotation. Now we are going to see how this theta is going to be defined. Come on. Angular position theta in radians is given in terms of the arc length, its substance on a circle of a radius. Okay, see here to learn position. This is your center. Okay, this is your center, right? Imagine this is your center. We are talking about circular motion, right? Circular motion, short form. We are talking about circular motion. For circular motion, you should have a center, right? If you take this as center, if you consider an object is here at a radius of r, imagine a car. Imagine Wang is here. Wang Min is here. He wants to travel from here to here. Okay, Wang Min, a gentleman Wang Min is here. He wants to travel from here to here. And he traveled after certain time, right? There's a time taken. The time taken is not required right now, but according to the definition, he has traveled from here to here. The distance traveled in a circular direction is yes. That means arc length. This is called arc. This position is called arc. We term this as arc. By geometry, we define arc length is equal to r comma theta. Okay. Do you remember this point? Arc length in geometry, arc length, which is S is defined as, but I use this version. Okay, r comma theta. S is given by r into theta, right? R and theta. S is given by r comma theta, r and theta. So the distance travels can be found by multiplying this r and the included angle or the displaced angle, right? What is the angle subtended by this r at this point? Anybody? angle subtended at the center by this line when Wang Min is here. What is the angle here? Anybody? Can you see my cursor moving? Along OA, let it be OA. What is the angle subtended by R? Wang Min starts his journey from here. What will be the angle subtended by R here? 0, because he's just starting, right? After traveling to a certain distance, say yes, he has traveled. Linearly, you can say yes distance by measuring this arc length. Or otherwise, you can say by theta. He has traveled from this point to this point by a, this is called subtend. Okay, by this lever arm or by this subtend, we can say he has traveled to a distance of theta, angular position. Okay, it's called angular position. He has traveled a distance of, or here the displacement of the boy from here to here to here is theta. And the value normally we measure by trigonometry, say S is equal to R theta. Don't worry about this equation now. It's already here. It's already written here. Just now if I do it right, the same equation R theta, I just rearrange it. This R will go here, you will get R equal, S is equal to R theta. This is the distance traversed or the arc length. Okay, arc length in geometry, by geometry, theory of geometry, we say arc length is equal to radius times the included angle. That is why I written here, and this is the equation. What's a unit? The displacement, right? Normally linear means you say meter, feet, and so on. Here the displacement is given in radians because it's in circle, right? It's in the circle. Circle always degree, right? You represent by degrees. Angles you always represent by degrees, right? Angles you always represent by degrees. Because we are doing, it's like what do you call the matrices between numbers, you cannot play with the degrees. You need to change to numbers, what is called as radians. Okay, radians. Usual procedure is to denote by degree the angle. If I say the 45 degree, then it is degree. But this 45 degree is not useful for me. I have to change this 45 degree to radians. This conversion also we will study today. Okay, this is important. This can go with numbers. When you multiply numbers with this, it's still a number, numerical value. Right. Angular displacement between 2 points 1 and 2. Maybe this one they are saying 1 and 2. 1 and 2 on the circle is given by theta 2 minus theta 1. If this is theta 2, the angle subtended by this one is theta 2. Angle subtended by this one is theta 1. Then it is called theta 1 by theta 2 by theta 2 minus theta 1. Right. It's not much important now because it's directly given a S value. Yes.
Miss, can you please repeat this part, which is theta 2 and theta 1?
Okay, let me write it down. Are you clear with this one? R theta. Okay. Delta theta.
Yeah.
Delta theta is the, actually I need to draw here where I separately do it. If this is a circle and this is the center, this is the center, O, let it be O. And imagine this is the number 1. The car is starting from here. Toyota car is starting from here. The wheel. Toyota car started from here, right? And let this angle subtended by this one be theta 1. And then after some time, it has traversed this point. Okay, the car has reached this point. So the angle subtended by, let this angle subtended by this angle after traveling a distance of S be theta 2. Okay, it is still,
okay, got it.
This is R. This is also R. Okay, now what would be the displacement? Imagine this is delta theta. So delta theta is equal to S2 minus theta 2, theta 2 minus theta 1. Theta 2 minus theta 1. Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, miss. Thank you.
Sometimes this notation I correct a lot, but here again, it's a common definition. Okay, right. Good. Hope you understood this equation. So displacement can be calculated by initial angle subtended by the object when it is started to the end of the journey, end of the process. The angle subtended by the end of the process. Subtract these two, you will get the value of angular position. Position only, right? Now further down, the position is important, and we are going to see the unit values. Only if I have a unit value, I can go for many, right? Since you have tables and times tables, we are bestowed with many inventions, many calculations, many designs are in the world, right? So this is the unit value. What would be the unit value of a radian? If you think of the unit value of the radian, it says the unit value of the radian is the one, right? 1 radian is equal to, there is a 1 radian, 1 radian is equal to, when the radius, when say radius is 2 centimeter and the distance traveled is also 2 centimeter, then it is called 1 radian. I repeat here, 1 radian is the angle you get when you rotate the radius of a circle a distance on the circumference equal to the length of the radius. Okay, you started here, right? You started here, 1 radian, you started here, 1 radian is, say this is r, right? 1 radian is equal to the angle, right? The angle keep increasing, right? You start moving, the angle keep increasing because the line is changing, right? You go here, go here, go here, go here, right? The line is keep changing. So it will be the 1 radian is equal to the value that you transfer, I mean the S is equal to R. When you travel R distance, it is a 1 radian. Okay, is it clear? When this radius and the distance travel along the circular path is equal, then it is called 1 radian. All right, 1 radian is approximately 57. It's also interesting. I will calculate and show you. For now, just take this value 57.3. 1 radian is equal to 57.3. How we will calculate now? So a radian is a larger unit of angle measured than a degree. Okay, so this, because we sometimes if it is a failure project, I mean designing an object to find a failure, at what point the machine will fail, at what point this the dam will collapse, all these things, you need to have the higher values. Hence they use the higher value which is represented by radians than the degree. So 1 radian is equal to 57.3. Please keep this in mind. I repeat once again, you can even solve and see later on. 2 you solve and see, you can see, you know, how much is it. One moment, I go to this mode. You want angle, right? Angle. Normally, how do we address? S is equal to the distance traveled, and the distance travel is equal to r theta. If you want theta, theta is equal to S by r, right? If S by r, if S is equal to r, these are equal to r, then it is called 1 radian. Okay, is the point clear? Include angle, if you take the include angle as a theta, it will be like this, 1 radian. But it is interesting, this value for now, just keep it like this. You never, or just for your information only, we will not be directly using it in the equation. We will be using some other values. I will help you, I will teach you in a while. I mean, we are going to see in a while, right? But remember, 1 radian is equal to 57.3 degree. So when you have a bigger value represented by 1 radian, you will can accommodate more number of what do you call, the approximation is very good, right? The preciseness in designing the machine or conducting the process, it may be a mixing process, it may be a treatment process, anything, it will be very clear if you use radians rather than the degrees. Okay, it's all for measurement purpose only, right? Okay, now we understood 1 radian is equal to 57.3. Just keep in mind, we are going to learn some more radians. Is the point clear? When the distance traversed, or when there is a, when radius of the circle is equal to the distance traveled, then it is called 1 radian. It may be of anything because they get cancel each other. Is it clear at this point? All right. You can stop me anytime if you're not clear. All right. Come on. Angular displacement. Am I going fast?
In secondary school, right? We learned that there was a formula we converted from degree to radian.
Yeah, we are going to do that.
Yeah, 5 here.
Yeah. I'm going to do that also. First exercise that one to familiarize because you should know the conversion first. Okay. Is the speed okay? The pace okay? Right. Angular displacement. Please remind me. We started at 3:30, right? 5. We will close at 5 o'clock. Remind me at 4:50 to start our quizzes. It is very interesting to review what we learn. Just like that, learn and go. We will not remember, but you attend quiz. It is not marked. Don't worry. You remind me. I keep on talking. I may lose time. 4:55. You tell me. Then remaining 5 we will wrap up. Okay. Come on, angular displacement. One revolution of the circle, just now we talk about 1 radian, right? Now what happens, only small distance we were talking about so far. What happens if the vehicle makes one circle? What's the value of a one circular motion, right? One revolution of the wheel or one circular motion is equal to 360 degree, right? All of you know this. I don't have to explain. Don't ask me why 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. It's like that. 2 plus 3 is 5. My parents, my grandparents, your grandparents all use, I accept. Fact, right? Mathematical fact. Like that, one circle is 360 degree. Included angle of one circle is subtended by a circle is 360 degree. Hence, one revolution if any object is making, the degree, included degree will be 360. Angular displacement. What is this angular of displacement? Delta theta la, just angular displacement. Angular displacement is the angle, right? It is referring to the angle directly. Please understand the basic. Sometimes it seems confusing, but it is not. If you understand the basic, you can derive yourself. Angular displacement, delta theta. Why I put delta theta? It is not always making a full circle, right? So I may require to calculate at any instant or just quarter or half. That's why we use the term delta theta. Otherwise, it's theta only. Just now we study, right? Theta like this. But any instant of time, any parcel of time you want to observe the process, then you use what is called delta theta. Okay, is an angle rotated by the line joining the object and the center of the circle. So what is this angle? Angle rotated by the line joining the object from the center to the circle, right? And this line should be between starting and ending of an object. Angular displacement is expressed in radians. One full circle is 360 degree. So one revolution is equal to 360 or 2 pi radians. If you rearrange, so if it is making full round, then distance travels will be 2 pi r, correct? This is delta S. If the same delta S goes around, S is equal to 360 degree, right? Total S or summation of all delta S is equal to 360 degree over this period, over this circumference. And then 360 degree, I just substitute this as 2 pi. We start with this value first, then you understand clear. What is the radians? We are trying to convert, get the radians. How many radians are there? How many degrees are there? In doing so, if you start with one revolution, right? One revolution is equal to 360 or otherwise 2 pi radians. Are you clear with this? Everyone agree with me? If any object is making one circle, right? If any object is making a one circle, then it is equal to 2 pi radians. Agree with me or not? Okay. If you agreed, then start with equate this value, right? So S is equal to r theta, we know already, right? Is also r theta. So now the distance travels r theta is equal to 2 pi r, isn't it? One moment, I go from here. When you substitute in this formula, you will get, you want this S, right? You want this S to be substituted. So now the S is theta is 2 pi r, right? S theta is 2 pi. I repeat here. Keep keep the r like this. The theta is now 2 pi. Clear? Because it made already one round. Hence, my distance travel will be 2 pi r. 2 pi r, right? And how much is the distance in terms of angle? Theta, 1 theta, right? This is full angle is 1 theta. Hence, I can replace the s by theta. So the angle subtended by, this is in linear form, this is in circular form. If it is in circular form, you must use the theta. So one circle is equal to 2 pi r. This is how they created this one. Oh, you are making mistake somewhere. One moment. Sorry, sorry, I got mixed up things. Right. Is this clear? That is s is equal to 2 pi r. It has come around full circle and then the r, because the theta is equal to, I go from here. Sorry, give me some time. I get mixed up this thing. One moment. I go from here, it's easy for me. So s equal to r theta, right? R theta. And then if I want theta, it will be s by r, isn't it? S by r. Help me, La. Okay. R. How much is theta? 2 pi. Clear? So s is equal to 2 pi r. This is very clear. S is equal to 2 pi r. Right? And what is this angle subtended by? What is the angle subtended by? S is equal to r theta, which is equal to 2 pi r. Then cancel these two, you end up with theta is equal to 2 pi. Are you clear? Theta is equal to 2 pi. Okay? Got it? I go from here, s is equal to r theta, s I just remain it as it is. I substitute only for this. I have r, my theta is made one circle already, that is 2 pi. So I keep all these things, I expand for s is equal to r theta, end up with theta is equal to 2 pi. I cancel r on both sides. Is it clear? Everyone? Right. There's a message. No message. All right. If any question until this one? Angular displacement. Number one, we found what is 1 radian, and we found what is the angular displacement if it made one circle. If the object is making one circle, it is called 2 pi, which is 360. Clear? Right. Come on. Angular velocity. Next one is, number one, we found angular displacement. How to find angular displacement? Number two, angular velocity. Angular velocity of an object is the rate of change of angular displacement. Okay, whenever there's a change in displacement, right, rate of change of or change in displacement, that is called angular velocity, right? Okay. What are the units? Similar to the last time, we must be careful with the unit. Come on, read here. If we can substitute the angular, the notation for angular velocity is omega average. Why it is average? In a journey, it may be slowing down, speeding up, right? Accelerated, retarded, or decelerated. Keep on changing, right? In the journey, for example, you travel from Klang to Batu Cave, you will have different velocities, right? In any process. That's why we say average velocity. Average velocity, we are studying angular velocity. If you denote by omega, angular velocity is given by change in displacement to the change in time. We know already the displacement is given by theta, right? You can even substitute as theta, but at any instant of time, if you want to find, better use delta theta over delta t. I repeat, angular velocity is given by similar to the linear velocity, which says distance over time. Angular velocity is also angular displacement over angular over delta t. Here the angular displacement may be at some distance, right? Maybe 0 to 20 or 90 or 45, or make a full circle means your theta will be, the displacement will be 2 pi, 360, right? Come on. You have to learn this equation. This is important. Come on. How do I got this one? In this equation, I think you are clear with this equation, displacement over time. You multiply and divide by delta S, you end up with Here V is this portion, delta S over delta T is already V, linear velocity. Change in distance over change in time. I denote this by V. And then the remaining I have, I also know delta S is equal to R delta theta. This one here, this one R theta, if it is an instant value, it's a delta theta. So I know these values, so I can substitute the value here. Omega is equal to, when I substitute this portion as V and this as R, I will get omega is equal to VR. Is it clear? Did you study this R value before? Yeah. Right. Is this equation clear to you? R theta, S is equal to R theta, right? That formula is used here. When I substitute delta S is equal to R theta, I will end up with here, S is equal to R theta. For any instant of time, delta is equal to R delta theta. Here R is equal to delta S over delta theta. Is this clear? With that, I substitute delta S over delta theta as a R. One moment. Yeah, correct. Should be R. No, let me check once again. Omega. Okay, V is equal to R omega, correct. Suddenly got mixed up. Correct? Understand how we got this equation? From the displacement, we got this equation. From the velocity, we got this equation. So I replace with this term into V and this term into R. Clear? Any question until this? You know how we got this one? Basics? Right. If no question, I move on. You answer, Mila, otherwise I do not know whether you have a question or not. Okay. I give you 1 minute. We've done two terms already, angular displacement and angular velocity. Angular velocity in two forms, right? Angular velocity in two forms, which is number one, angular velocity delta theta over delta t, which is for angular, angular motion, circular motion. And if you want any relative terms in linear, right, tangential, the same angular can be represented by linear by making use of the linear velocity, just multiply by the radius. With that you can get still angular velocity using linear velocity. That is a different form. This is one equation of angular velocity, another equation of angular velocity. Any questions so far? Okay, good. Yeah. And I make mistake also, correct me. Period and frequency. Period is the time. Yeah. See why you need all these things. Come on. Why you need all these things? To design all this. I want to design my roller coaster. I want to study the movement of the bird, right? Movement of the bird, movement of the, what do you call it? Maybe a life cycle of the bird. And this one, planetary motion. I want to learn astronomy. And then design objects, design machines, design my air filter, air con, right? Air duct, and then produce power, right? Generation of power, production center, manufacturing. In all these physics are applied. Okay. In learning this, you do some basic equations here. We cannot stop until velocity. I need to go for one more, which is period and frequency. This is most important in machines, right? In especially in motors, designing motors, designing production of electricity and so on. And many applications are there. For now, let's understand what is period and frequency. Period is the time for one complete revolution. Just now we see one, if the object is making one revolution, it is equal to 2 pi. And this 2 pi, when it is made 2 pi, the time taken is called 1 period. Period is equal to T is equal to 1. if it made one revolution. Make this unit value, know this unit value, you have to remember this. Then frequency. Period, it's like a time, but more than a time. It's not just time, right? Time can be at any time or duration of time, but this case is the period is there is a meaning, must complete one cycle. In signals they say, one complete wavelength, right? When it is started here, you should complete like this, right? We are not studying signal processing, but in signal, up and down, they have to complete one wavelength, then it is called period. Like that, you have to have a complete one circle, then it is called one period. Frequency. Frequency is the number of revolutions per second, right? Just a reverse of frequency, reverse of the period is called frequency. How often? What is frequency? How often? This denotes what is the time taken. This denotes what is the frequency, how often it could occur. These are all important to design a flywheel of a motor or Pelton wheel, right? Pelton wheel which is used for generation of power. How often it can fail, how many revolutions it can make and generate the power, at what point it will fail, right? The frequency is matter, how many revolutions, how many times it will turn or rotate to produce the electricity. Rotation is important. A number of rotation important, not only number of rotation, over the period of time, how the frequency changes, how the revolution changes, whether the revolution is reduced, number of revolutions reduce or increase or halt. All these things are important. Okay, that's why these terms also important in designing objects in physics, using physics. Period and frequency. The unit of frequency is hertz. All right. Okay. I repeat, frequency is how often this particular cycle is repeated. You made one cycle, but how often it is repeated? I cannot just stop with one cycle, right? Do you know what is the RPM of RPM? Better I introduce the term right now. What is RPM? RPM. Anybody? Quickly.
Round per minute.
Revolutions per minute. Rotations per minute. Okay. Later in the questions it will come. REN, revolutions per minute, revolutions, sorry my handwriting, per minute or rotations per minute, okay, rotations per minute, okay, we call this as RPM. So when you design the machine, the flywheel have to rotate 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. Later you solve questions, you will know 20,000 rotations within a second. Then only the impulse will be produced, then it is possible for production of energy at the end. Okay, it is not just one rotation. Hence, I need to know what is one rotation and how many rotations it make and at what point it can fail. All these things are important later in the design process. That is why we need to learn frequency. Okay. And like you're standing at the bus station, how often the bus will come? Bus going to Klang will come. Bus going to Gompak will come, right? Something like that. Right, relation between, yeah, this is another one. I don't know whether we started here. Okay, well, let me introduce here itself. Relation between W and T. Period is equal to angular displacement in a complete circle over angular velocity, right? So the duration until what time the machine is engaged, the person is engaged, that car is on the race car is on the track. These are all important. To know that, you have to know the equation. Angular displacement in a complete circle. One circle, this must be complete one circle. Angular displacement in one complete circle over angular velocity, right? So T is defined as one complete circle. Always remember it is 2 pi. Whenever this is 360, 2 pi. 2 pi over omega, angular velocity. You rearrange, you will get omega is equal to 2 pi over T. Further, you rearrange 2 pi here, 1 over T, gentleman frequency. This gentleman is frequency. Just now we see frequency is 1 over T. So I substitute in terms of frequency. So in questions, if period is asked, you can use this formula. If frequency is given asking you to calculate angular velocity, you can use this formula. I repeat, angular velocity is equal to 2 pi times frequency. Frequency in hertz, Angular velocity, what is the unit of angular velocity? Just now we studied. Anybody? Unit of angular velocity? Angle. Angle is measured in degree, but I cannot use degree. I can use? Oh, very good. Thanks,
Radians.
very good. Radian. Yours, radians. Radians per? Missed another term.
Radians per second.
Correct. So remember these values. Frequency, hertz, right? So you can measure in terms of these values. Come on. Good. Angular acceleration. So we don't stop with velocity. Just next one is the acceleration. I can stop here because the velocity is not uniform. Okay. Velocity. Actually, I cannot use the word uniform. Technically speaking, being a civil engineer, I cannot use the word uniform. Actually speaking, it is a steady flow, steady speed. We say, meaning no change over time. Okay, no change over time. But this gentleman velocity changes over time. Automatically, you have to calculate acceleration. All right. Angular acceleration of an object is the rate at which its angular velocity changes with time. Right? Because the velocity is changing, I need to go for one more calculation, what is called angular acceleration.
Miss,
What?
can you go back to slide 11? Slide 11. Slide 11.
Say again. Sorry, not clear.
Previous.
Previous
Slide.
slide.
Yeah. Previous. Yeah, this. The W, right, is equal to V divided by R, right? Not V times R.
Yeah.
V divided by R.
Yeah.
You are coming to V divided by R. The R is going down here. At the beginning also I made mistake. That's why I also got a bit of. Thank you. Correct me.
Okay.
Because the delta is down here. I need to substitute down. Wait, let me check once again. R is equal to delta is by R. R is going down only by R. That's why I check in the beginning also the print mistake. Print mistake. I also follow the print mistake. Did I clear and do it? Okay, well, let me check once again. Delta is and delta theta correct. And this one S equal to R theta correct. R is equal to delta is correct. Correct. Omega is equal to V over R. Clear? According to this definition, omega is equal to V over R. Okay. Once again, the other values. See, this gentleman is here also correct. Is before, that's why. One moment. Here. V is omega is equal to V over R. Correct. Thank you so much for correction. All right. Everyone okay? Come on. Any other correction? Okay. Where we are at this point. So we need to know what is the acceleration. Angular acceleration is equal to velocity over time taken. That usual for procedure. Acceleration is also defined by velocity over time or change in velocity, not just velocity, change in velocity, then only acceleration coming in. The notation for angular velocity is omega, delta omega. Over time taken is delta t. Okay, time taken is delta t. And the formula, the same usual linear acceleration unit, which is meter per second is for linear. For angular, it is radians per second square. Clear? Come on. Nothing more to define here. If you want different form, we will do it one by one. So having done this angular acceleration, let's see what is the relationship. Okay, because each object is subjected to three-dimensional flow, 2 or 3 or one-dimensional, right? Not always one dimension. Hence, you need to know the relationship between angular and tangential quantities. The tangential is referring to linear or one dimension. All of you know that S, arc length is equal to r comma theta. If S is theta, if delta is delta theta. If delta S means it is instantaneous. If S means full, maybe the whole distance, right? Right. Come on. V is equal to delta S by delta T. All of you know, right? Distance traversed over time. And then delta is, I already know, I can calculate the delta S by polar coordinates, which is r comma delta theta, r comma delta theta. Are you clear? Delta S, this delta S will be given, arc length is given by include angle times the theta. That is what written here. And then delta T, I keep it as it is. When you resolve here, I would have done here better rather than doing there. But how you get from displacement is important. That's why we did here. Sometimes they give displacement, you don't get is a derivation. All right. Sometimes you don't get, you are given with the displacement only, then you need to do this. At that time, you can do this derivation. Okay. Let's go here. V is equal to R gamma, R omega, sorry, R omega. All right. V is equal to R omega, important equation. So I get the relationship between tangential and angular as when V is given and asked to calculate angular or vice versa, you can use this equation. V is equal to R omega. Acceleration, A is equal to R alpha. I will solve for this in a while. For now, just keep it. A is equal to R alpha. Come on. Totally, if you see these equations, right, you can have a combination or compare between linear and angular. These equations are important. I try to give for formula sheet, but I request you to understand this equation, how you got it, what is the unit. Just now a gentleman corrected me, right? Like that, even if you make mistake also, you can correct it yourself, provided you know the basics. Okay, so remember how you solve this one. If you want, I can provide this. There is a great deal of similarity between the linear and angular motion equations. These are all equations of motion. This is linear and these are all angular. You see here one by one. V, final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration time t. And same goes here. Just replace V with, this is V, because I use the Calibri function. Automatically it is showing like this, like a new. It is not new, it is V. Final velocity is equal to u plus at. Final acceleration, right? Rotation, rotation we denote by revolutions, frequency, period. That's why we have to remember the other terms also. So Wf is equal to final angular velocity is equal to initial plus angular acceleration times t. Alpha is referring to the angular acceleration. If you want to zoom a bit, angular acceleration. Theta is equal to omega, just replacement only. You know the displacement is denoted by theta in our case. U is represented by omega, alpha, right? A is represented by alpha, and so on. So follow all these equations. I repeat for this one, let me finish all. V is replaced by omega, U is replaced by omega because both are velocities, acceleration by alpha, and theta by S, right? It's something similar. Only the terms are changing, the notations are changing. Come on. Lastly, gentlemen, displacement S is equal to average displacement, U plus final, initial plus final, average distance times T. Distance times T is called distance. Velocity, average velocity times T is called distance traversed. Same distance traversed in angular is denoted by angle traveled, how much angle it has traveled, how much angle is subtended by the final subtend is equal to final velocity, initial velocity plus final velocity over 2 times t, average velocity times t, because it's simple formula from velocity. Velocity is equal to distance over time, right? Distance over time. I use the same notation. Yes, and S is equal to V times T. That is what here. That is what written here. And same goes here. Velocity is equal to omega theta time over time. And then theta is equal to, if on distance, W times omega times T. Clear? Any questions so far? You're all expert on this because first, I think chapter 4, 3 all deal with this types of equations only. Equations of motions, Newton's law of motion, first law, second law. All right? Hello? Silent. Come on. Any question? 100 people out of 119, I think, in the class. 119. I saw. Any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Come on, let's continue our class. We are here. Centripetal force. This one I want to show something magic. Come on. We usually think of acceleration as a change in speed, right? This gentleman is no life if no speed change or velocity change. Because the velocity is changing, this gentleman come into picture. Acceleration is coming into picture. Because velocity includes both speed and direction, acceleration can also be change in direction of motion, right? You know that velocity has two parameters, right? It's a vector, have magnitude and also the direction, right? Here the statement says, although the velocity is constant, right? Meaning what? There is no change in velocity. The gentleman is going very straight away, right? Very clearly going straight away, and he is not changing the magnitude. The magnitude of the velocity is not changing, but only changing the direction, right? Still, it is called as non-uniform flow, or it is causing a different type of motion. Come on, one by one. Wait. Right, let's see here. Number one, this car, right? Car on the road. You're coming to campus, right? We are expecting you all to join the campus soon. You started driving for the class at 3:30. You started driving from your home. You keep on moving from one point to another. Say, for example, you're starting from KL. You reach Charas, and then you go into the Taman corner. Keep on moving like this, right? Because the force is also acting in this direction, you are able to move in the same direction, right? Can you see my cursor moving? Right. Because you are keep on accelerating, you press the accelerator, keep on moving. The force is also helping you to move in a forward direction. Positive acceleration. Come on, next case. Suddenly you got some intervention, some signal. You need to slow down, right? You need to slow down. Or maybe you want to return back, right? You want to return back. So you try to slow down. Automatically, it will not move forward. Acceleration become deceleration or retarded. Your force is retarded or your motion is retarded by another force. So the direction of force will be acting in the direction. In other words, there is no acceleration acting on it. There is a deceleration or slowing down. Is the point clear? Number one, there is a positive acceleration. The force is also in the same direction. Hence, we can call this as a positive acceleration. In other case, although the object is moving in this direction, the car is moving in this direction, there is a kind of force acting in the opposite direction. That means there is a deceleration causing or retardation caused. Due to that, in other words, the car is slowing down, meaning the force is acting on the opposite direction. Okay, or it's really going turning to the other direction and so on. All these types of forces will cause the object to slow down or decelerate. Come on, what if this case? In this case, forward, backward. What if in this case, the object is moving in this direction? What if the force is acting perpendicular, right? Not in this direction, right? Not forward or backward, but perpendicular. The force is acting to the perpendicular. What will happen? Anybody? So gentleman is driving to the school and he is helped by forces. All the forces and the tire force, everything is helping to move forward. And suddenly she to slow down.
With an angle.
So it will be turning to an angle. Very good. It will turn to an angle, right? Instead of going forward and backward, keeping a zero angle, it will make an angle, right? It will turn or it will rotate. It will lead a circular path rather than a linear path. So far is a straightaway highway, straight highway road. Because the force started acting in this direction or in a perpendicular direction, even if it is acting somewhere here also, you can resolve and take it, okay? No matter the force started instead of linear or in the path of the travel itself, if it is acting in perpendicular direction, automatically the car will no longer be on the straight line. It will turn, and that is called centripetal force. What will happen at the end? The car will move in a circular path. Direction change, magnitude maintained. Direction change, magnitude is maintained. Is the point clear? I repeat, because of the force, right, acting in a, we can define in both way. Either you say the circular motion is always having a perpendicular force acted upon, right, or otherwise, if the force acting on the body is in a perpendicular direction, automatically the body will turn to a circular path rather than a straight path. Clear? Come on. We usually think of acceleration as a change in speed. I have done this part. So do you clear, I mean, are you clear with this definition? How the change in force causes the object to turn the direction. Especially in this case is a circular path, and the force that is acting perpendicular to the body is called as centripetal force, center seeking force. Okay, it is seeking the center. Because of this force acting towards the center of this object, when you make a circle, you complete this circle and make the point, find out the center. The force will be always acting towards the center, called centripetal force. The object is acted upon by a centripetal force. That is why it can be in a circular path. It can lead a circular path. Okay, come on. We'll learn one by one very interesting stories on this. Any force that causes an object to move in a circle is called centripetal force. Okay, any force that causes an object to move in a circle like this, like this, like this. I don't know why it's not rotating. Anyway, because the object is rotating, right? Still in rotation, still in circular path due to centripetal force about the center. That is important. Towards the center. The force is acting towards the center. That is why they maintain a circular path. Otherwise, they will be out of the circular path. The centripetal force is always perpendicular to an object motion towards the center of the circle. That is important. Underline this one. It must be towards the center. It must be towards the center. Say, for example, in this case, this man is rotating. Where's my? So this man is rotating because of the centripetal force acting towards the center. And when you come to this one, this is very interesting phenomenon. Come on, one by one. Start with this tension, and then friction. Come on, I stop here. Okay, in this case, I don't know why you cannot slow down. I go here. Okay, come on. In this kind of movement, right? It is rotating. There are three types of forces discussed here. One is friction, another one gravity, another one tension. In this diagram here, okay. So the body is in motion because the friction between the tire and the car is what? Always supported by or balanced by the centripetal force towards the center. Second case, tension. The tension of the rope, right? There is a rope, there is something here at the circle, and rope is holding it. This rope is subjected to a tension, right? Tension means the ability to elongate. It is a tension. This tension force is always acting towards the center or balanced by the centripetal force that is acting at the center. That is why it is still in the rotation. Coming to the next one, gravity, the mass, right? Inertia of the object. This is object, the blue object. Imagine this is blue object. I don't know where I stop. Okay. Let me go to that part. And see here the object. There is a circle here. The object is moving in a circle due to the mass, right? The mass acting on the inertia of the body is balanced by the centrifugal force that is acting towards the center. Okay, or the force which is always, when this is coming here, here. When this is coming here, here. Always in perpendicular direction, right? In other words, the mass or inertia of the body is balanced by the centripetal force that is acting towards the center. If this force is released, it will be no longer in circle. There's an interesting video I will show you. It's going to be 450. Okay, you see, show the video, quick one. Then you really appreciate how important the centripetal force and this one. Come on. So quick, and the time is passing so quick. One moment. To make sure you understand this concept, we must learn some more on the video. Add sound and this video. Come on.
Attached to a piece of string, and you start swinging it in circles. Whoa now, watch out for your buddy. Let's take a closer look at the fascinating physics of this simple action. You've probably heard of Newton's second law of motion as it relates to objects moving in a straight line. Turns out, Newton's second law also tells us about the net force on an object as it moves in a circle. When an object moves in a circle, its velocity changes direction. Since the velocity is changing, that means we have an acceleration. And we know from Newton's second law that if we have an acceleration, we have a net force. Now back to our spinning ball. For objects undergoing circular motion, the net force on the object is called the centripetal force. It's a weird sounding word, but it's Latin for the phrase center seeking. It's named centripetal because the centripetal force always points to the center of the circle. The ball has a tangential velocity, so if you suddenly cut the string, it would fly off in whatever the tangential direction was at the moment you made the cut. But assuming you don't cut the string and you keep swinging the ball's tangential velocity is constantly changing directions. This means the ball is accelerating, and the reason it's accelerating is due to the centripetal force. The centripetal force acting on the ball is constantly directing the ball towards the center of the circle, your hand. This, combined with the ball's velocity, keeps the ball swinging in a circle. The same centripetal force that keeps the tennis ball swinging in a circle also keeps roller coasters on the track as they go through a loop-de-loop. So the next time you're having a blast on a roller coaster, you can thank the centripetal force.
Okay, let's stop here for the class today. Shall we move on to the, any questions so far?
In this video, we're going to talk about the centripetal force. But when you hear the word centripetal force, what do you think
I
about?
stop here. Let's do the quizzes. Can you start with the quizzes? Are you
Yes,
ready?
miss.
Okay, all of you start. When whatever you know, you just answer the question. You join my quizzes. I have given you the link already, right? Let me open up file quickly for you because it's a wrap up of the class. Okay, come on, I share screen. Quickly. Chapter 6. Chapter 6. Got it. Come on, I share screen for you. Okay, start the quiz. I give you the code. Classic mode. Join.
Miss, where's the quiz?
One moment. One moment. I didn't start yet. Come on. Okay. All of you see the screen. You can find the joining code and the link that you have to go. I will also post in your chat box. Come on. Chat box. All of you join this link. I posted the link there, and then also I post the code for you. All of you join quickly. That's why we have to start. Right? You're on time. We start on. Code is 95 97 38. 95 97 38. 95 97 38. Come on. Interesting questions. Try to answer. If any difficulty question, you can discuss with me. Yeah, this is not mocked. This is for wrap up of today's class, review of today's class. I'm not going to mark it, don't worry. Have you joined? I let you 1 more minute, then we start the quiz. Because the quiz is about 4 minutes, only 4 to 5 minutes, not more than. Okay. How many have joined? 74, quickly. You put your full name, I mean the correct name. Don't give any other names. You lose your credit. It is not marked, don't worry. It is not included for assessment, but review of today's class. All right? Okay, let me start. You can still join. Let me start. Yeah, I 5. Because that's it. There's no chair. There's no TV.
Dr. Honey, if we finish, do we leave the meeting? Hello?
Miss? Miss? Can we leave, please? I finished the quiz. Miss?
Guys, I was changing room. Sorry if I miss you any.
Can we leave now? Because I finished the quiz. And they have another class now. Hello?
One moment. Okay, guys, are you there? We have one more minute.
Yes.
Have you done? All right,
Done.
I give some instruction as
Miss,
well.
can I leave? I have another class now and I finish the quiz.
Yeah, you can leave now. If you're finished quiz, you
Thank
can leave now. Yeah, please.
Thank you,
Okay,
Miss.
thank you, Luis.
Yeah,
Bye
welcome.
bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Later, I post a link for Padlet. You can put your comments there. All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss.
Come by.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, I'm going to end the session. Quizzes. Thank you so much for participating. I'll give you the result next class. Who is the champion? Oh, it came out already. Our champion is Ismail, Tanyi Seng, and Lin Shao Heng. Good boys. All boys, huh? No girls. Oh, they're a power up. Okay, let's see next class. I will show the results next class. Bye-bye. Take care. Nice evening. I stop here.